I hope you were able to do the challenge, and if not, that's not a problem. Like I said, this would have been a little bit challenging here because there's a little thing that we need to do for this to actually work, for our snack bar to actually show and work. All right, let's go ahead and get that done. So this is probably how you did it, which is how it's done. So it would say scaffold, because in order for us to invoke a snack bar, we need to go through the scaffold, which has a method called show snack bar, and then we pass a snack bar object, right? There's different ways to do that. We could come down here and could say final snack bar is equal to snack bar like this, pass content, correct. And then of course we say scaffold, like I said, and say of, we need to pass the context. In this case, I can just go ahead and say context like this. Now this context has to come from somewhere. Of course, we're going to pass a build context, right? And pull it all in like this, right? And then say show snack bar and pass our snack bar. Or we could have just taken all of this straight and added inside here. So it's one liner. Maybe this is more expressive and you can see exactly what's going on. Okay, this is how you would do it. Now you notice if I were to do this, in fact, let's try to copy this and paste it in at the bottom as well. In this case, it's going to say incorrect. Okay, like that. Let's save this or just run real quick here to make sure everything is good. Looks like I have problems, require arguments. Right, we are back to the problem here. That means we have to pass the context for each one of these, right? Because we changed our signature. Now remember this context here, we have to pass that we're passing here is actually coming from our tree, which is our build context that we are passing through here. Again, build context here is an object that knows all about the structure of our user interface, where things are placed. That's why we need to pass it whenever we want to construct something a little bit more complex into our user interface. That's all what a build context is. Again, that's one version. There's more things that it can do. Very good. So that's what's happening here. But I'm going to show you that's exactly what you probably did. And you save and run and try to get things to work and click and nothing is happening. You know everything is still working. If you run here, it says it's correct. Looks like I still have a problem. Yes. I'm missing a semicolon there. Let's fix that and save. Okay, life is good right now. Like I said, you notice that, well, I guess let's start over. Click false, things are working fine. Actually, not at all, because now all of this is happening. This is probably what you ran into and you were frustrated. But the cool thing here is that we are given also why things are not working and how to fix it. And it even gives us this link to where we can actually go and show it. So if I click here, I'm going to copy the URL, copy it and show here. This is where you end up going. So I'm going to make this bigger. So what's happening here? So it says the state for the closest instance of this class that encloses the given context. Because we are passing this build context here, which is not related to this build context that we have in our widget here. So in order for this to work, we actually have to somehow relate this only one build context. That should be related directly to whatever we're passing inside here. Right? But because this check answer here is actually being called or created here at the bottom, this method function here, this method here, we are invoking this new different one. So to fix that, we actually have to come up here and instead of passing inside of our body this container, we have to pass, as it says here, the example, how to fix it. We have to pass a builder object here, right? Or widget really. And inside of that has a property called builder. And then we pass that context. And then we're going to be able to invoke the snack bar because we will need that context that we need. Okay. So that is what we need to do. It's very simple really. So you can read more about it in this page here and see exactly the intricacies that come with it. But the idea here is that if you need to use that builder context, you need to pass the builder object here, which has the builder property, and you pass that build context. So same thing that we had before, but different now because we have builder and builder here. So I'm going to go ahead and say new widget, and the widget is builder. There it is, the builder. And it's going to complain because now here has to be builder. And we are going to have to pass our build context like this, and that's when we just return the container. Okay, now this container here obviously will have access to our context, which comes from our builder object, which will know how to pass through the correct context. Just like that, we're done. Now, if we go ahead and save this, you should see we should be able to, when you click, notice there it says correct. Okay, that's very good. Takes a little while to go away. And it's incorrect because this is incorrect. It's not 4 years, it's 6 years. Very good. That is the way we make this to work. So let's put a little bit of documentation here. I'm going to say we use builder to use a context that is a descendant of scaffold. Say or else scaffold of will return null, which is exactly what we were seeing earlier. Now, the other thing we can do with our scaffold, since it's working now, that's always a good thing, we can, of course, add a few properties or styling to it, right? For instance, I want to make sure that when I say true, so this snack bar here takes less time showing because it's too long. Okay, we can change that. Okay, we have that liberty. So if I come to our scaffold here, or I'm sorry, to our snack bar, I can pass a duration. Before I even do that, I want to show you something. Duration here, notice it invokes a duration type. Okay, so that's what it's expecting. Say duration. And for duration, we can pass all sort of things. We can pass days, ints, and all different parameters here. So I want milliseconds like this, 500 milliseconds, so half a second. Let's save. In fact, let me copy this and do the same for the bottom here. Okay, let's save that. And notice if I select this, it quickly goes down. Okay, timing is really good. And if I want, I can also change the color. So if it's true, meaning that the user picked the correct one, maybe a different color. What I mean by that, the background of our snack bar. We can do that too. That's the beauty. So for the true background color, let's make it green. For the correct one, for the incorrect, we'll say background color, maybe red, perhaps red accent like that. Okay, if we say false, incorrect, see that color is nice, and correct is good. Now you notice here our next is working, everything is good, but it would be really awesome if we were able to, as soon as we hit true or false, regardless whether it's correct or incorrect, we go next, right? That'd be nice. Even though the next button works, that's totally fine, but it will make our user interface or user experience much, much better. How do we do that? Well, that is a challenge that I have for you. So I want you to make it so that the moment we say true, and it gives us if whether we're correct or not, we are going to go ahead and update this view here, meaning go to the next question. I think you can do that. Hint, hint, remember, all we have to do really is just update or increment our index. Go ahead and get that done, and I will see you in the next video.